Hey everybody, welcome back. Nigel here again with you, and I've got another video today talking about a resurrection of a kit that I looked at a long while ago. As I mentioned yesterday, I've had requests via email and questions basically asking what's happened to this, did you ever finish this, are you going to do this, blah 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 blah. And the three top kits that come out are the B-52, 2 is the Bronco, which I did a video on yesterday, and 3 is the other kit which I haven't even looked at yet, but I'm determined to get out and do some work on for you. So basically this is like a revisit in the past. Now in this video we're going to talk about the Model Collect B-52. I'm going to do a giveaway, but there are stipulations to the giveaway, and also we're going to look at combining some parts with some Eduard stuff and see what we come up with. So it's going to be an interesting little video, all B-52 related, and as I said, one or maybe two of you are going to come out of this with a freebie. So going forward, let's look at this. This is the original B-52G kit from Model Collect. Just check not being glared at by the camera, by the light. Now there's a long history about this model. I did a review of it back when it first came out, which was, God blimey, I can't remember now, 2017 maybe. But anyway, 2018 probably. I wasn't even going in 2017. So yeah, a lot of talk about this. I did a comparison with the AMT slash Italeri kit. I did a comparison with the Revell kit as well, all three of them, even though the Revell kit's a B-52D. And this kit unfortunately has a lot of issues, a lot of errors, stuff that's, not completely absolutely wrong, but like for example, Old Crow Express is the only decal option you get, and Old Crow Express carried cruise missiles and should have had strakes on the wings. The kit didn't come with the right amount of cruise missiles, and it didn't come with the strakes on the wings. So it also had the wrong tail, and the nose shape was incorrect. So, and the other thing with it, with the flaps, they couldn't be modelled in the downward position, which every B-52 still on the ground has its flaps down, other than if they're up for maintenance. And there was no way of actually, because there was no tracks or anything, there was no way of actually having the flaps down without doing a lot of serious modifications. So, fair play to Model Collect. They came along and gave us a whole new kit of weapons. They did the reshaped tail. They did new flaps as per the H kit with the tracks and everything moulded into them. They gave us more photo etch parts with those weapons as well. And they also corrected the nose. Now here's the nose that originally came with this kit. Ignore the black line. But that's the nose that originally came with the kit. And then what they did was gave us this one. So you can see what they've done is basically extended that nose to give it the more correct shape. Now, personally, I don't like the shape of this. There's something up, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. But I actually like the look of that. Even though it's not right, I like the look of that one. So, and they've also done a G, which I also have, another kit, I can't remember what it's called now, but it's done without the pods on the bottom. So it's just a plain B-52G without those pods, the early version. So basically that's what we're going to talk about today, and as I say, we're going to look at some Eduard stuff, do a freebie, and go from there. So basically I want to take some of this, and some of this, and make some beautiful looking engines. So we'll do that in a minute. First of all, I want to talk about another error with all of the Model Collect kits, the G and the H's. The B-52 D, E and F had a very large wing tank. It was almost like a bullet shaped or tapered wing tank on the end of each wing. Along came the G and the H, and they had a different tank which was much smaller. This is the tank from the Italeri AMT kit, and it's quite accurate, it's quite good, a little bit bulbous at the back end, but basically it's somewhere handy. It's near enough. A lot of fictitious panel lines on it and stuff, but it's somewhere handy. This is what Model Collect give you. Now if you want to compare the size of those from the same scale kit, as we can see, this is massive in comparison to this one. So basically there's something wrong here. They're extremely large. I think they point up too far as well. I think they're actually, when they're on the model, they're kind of, if you were looking at the side of the aircraft now down through my camera, basically they're pointed up like this too far, I believe. So what I've done, I have made my own, and I've basically made drop tanks to fit the Model Collect wing. So they've got the actual Model Collect location pins in them, so they'll go straight into the holes in the Model Collect wing, and they've got the right sort of shape. Now the first lot I've made, I had some old resin lying around, I've used it, and I've had some issues with some poor mix, and I've also had some very tiny micro bubble issues. But the next lot I make, hopefully they'll be better for my kit. But basically I've made a few. Now I don't have a built B-52 to try these on, so here comes the freebie bit, but with conditions. Okay, this comes with conditions. As you all know, or as most of you will know, I have an email address, nigelsmodelingbench@gmail.com. Okay, so if you want to get yourself a pair of these wing tanks for free, you have to do two things. You can see that I've got a bit of a dodgy mix there. What I'll do, I'll send the best ones out. So basically, if you have a Model Collect B-52, any of the Model Collect B-52, so any G variant, any H variant, and it's in the process of being built, and I mean, you know, newly finished, so the airframe is kind of made up, or at least we're ready to put the wings on or something, send me a couple of photos of your model, or even if it's finished and you're prepared to take the wing tanks off and put these on. All I want to do, I'm going to give these wing tanks away free to the first person that sends me some photographs, or first couple of people maybe, and I'll send you a couple of these wing tanks for free. They are sided left and right, or port and starboard, so they fit correctly under the wings with the correct, you know, so they end up pointing forward. But what I want to do, I want you to send me some pictures, or a couple of pictures of your model in its nearly complete or completed state, and then I will choose from the one or two that I think is the most suitable, or the first ones that come through, whatever. And I will send you free of charge a pair of these. And in return, what I want you to do is just fit them onto your model. Even if you don't glue them on, I'd like you to just put them on with a bit of blue tack, or perhaps a tiny drop of super glue, so they can easily be broken off again, because I want to know that they look right on the model. They must sit the right distance from the ground, they must have the right attitude and everything before I go and stick these on eBay or anything. So as I say, drop me an email with a picture of your model, or a couple of pictures of your model in its finished or nearly finished state, and basically I need your address as well, so I can send them to you, and I will send you a couple of these, a pair, port and starboard, free of charge. And in return, I would like you to send me some pictures with these on, just a couple of pictures, you know, one sort of looking, you know, 45 degrees along to the nose, one directly from the side, and then one 45 degrees to the tail, and just so I can see basically how they look when they're fitted on the model. Okay, so nigelsmodelingbench@gmail.com, and I'll send you a couple free. They're not perfect, as I say. I mean, that one there, you can see it's got a bubble in it, but the main tank is all there and everything, and we've got the weld seams on there correctly positioned and everything. So yeah, let me know what you think, and send me some pictures, and I'll send you a couple free of charge. The other thing I've been looking at is these pods. Now, if we look at the bottom of the B-52, I mean, for a start, they all seem to have a sink mark in them. That one's got one there, that one's got one there. They just don't look right to me, and I've been trying and trying and trying to make something up which is correct, which is more the correct shape, and you can see how much bigger I've got them when you look at it there. But I can't seem to get it right, and I'm beginning to wonder if the actual nose shape is incorrect. I wonder if the nose is too tapered or something. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I'd be interested to get some feedback. And also these little pods on the side here, I feel they're much too small in the kit, so I've actually enlarged them. And you can see here I've done a load of rubbing down. This is actually when Model Collect originally sent me my first update set obviously the new nose comes with the update set, and this was actually, you can see a white mark in it there and there, and this was actually all bent and twisted. It had been crushed in the post, and all of my flaps were crushed. So I asked them for a replacement, and they sent me through a complete new kit. So I've now got 2 lots of weapons and 2 noses and all sorts. So very, very lucky. So yeah, I've widened these, squared those up, and made them look a bit more realistic, I think. But let me know what you think. I've also remade this piece that goes on the top here, that little lump on there. I can't remember the names of all these pods now, but I've made that to go on the front as well, because that isn't really strictly the right shape, and also it should have a flange around its base. So yeah, let me know what you think, and let me know where I'm going wrong, because I can't seem to get these right at all. 1 minute they're too wide, then they're too narrow. So let me know. Anyway, let's have a look at this. What I want to do here is, on camera, build one of these engines using the Eduard photo etch set. Now this is the engine set. Part number is 72680, and this is the interior, 73646. Using the interior is a great idea because it's great fun for modelling and a bit of practice and everything, but unfortunately the B-52G kit has the wrong seats in it, so you're basically adding detail to stuff that's incorrect. I would rather Eduard would charge a little bit more and give us corrections for the seats. But there's a lot to it, and the main reason I've got it is because you get this beautiful step, the ladder, and everything, the detail. So when you look up in the access hatch, you'll see all that detail up in there, which is very nice indeed. And you also get this photo etch part for the windows across the top as well. So when you look down here, when you look down there, you'll see the handles inside there, which is something you always see when you see photographs of them in refueling mode. So this is the B-52 engines set, and what they're telling us to do is to obviously use the kit parts, remove the plastic fan. We're going to use parts of sprue to make up spacers and stuff for the engines. It's also telling us we need to make this into a cone on here. I think what I'm going to do is make one, or even take a resin moulding off of one of these, and then use resin parts instead of having to fuss about with doing all that sanding, because there's 8 of them. And then basically we've got fans here that we've got to twist round, which is cool, and we're going to be adding this lovely photo etch, and that's going to go in there on the back of there, so that's going to look nice. And then when you look through, you'll see the veins here on the back of the behind that in the back of that tube. And then when it comes to the tail end of the engine, you got this cone going in the front here, you can see. When it comes to the tail end, you got this afterburner ring or whatever it is, and then you've got this turbine ring here going in at the back. That's going to look lovely. And then you've got the cone going in that you've made, and then you've got this part, whatever that is, going in with the 3 feathers going in into this thinned out cone. When I say thinned out, I mean the cone is there, I'm going to thin mine out. So you're going to have that instead of just looking into a hole, basically. So yeah, what's nice as well is these turbines are actually solid. They're not photo etched through, so when you look through the front, you're not going to see daylight when you look down through. So that's all been thought out as well. But this is all some beautifully photo etched parts, and yeah, really, really nice. These instructions, by the way, I always print them out. If you go to the Eduard website, you can print out their instructions on every set they make, and I'd rather have them printed out in A4 than have the tiny little instructions you get with the sets. That's what I like to do. So let's get some of these parts off the sprue and have a look. Okay, now I thought this was going to be a simple job of making an engine. I was going to do one side with the kit parts, one side with the Eduard parts, and show you the difference. Front end, nothing really too much wrong, other than the intake cones aren't tapered on the inside. So when you actually put the blades in behind, you're actually not going out to the edge. Now I need to do some research and see if they're actually tapered out. If they are, what I intend to do is make some tapered out, and then I'm going to make a resin copy for myself, because as I say, there's 4 of them and I want them all the same. So that's the front end. The rest of it is absolutely fine. Now if we look in the instructions, it's telling us here to remove this nose cone from the front fan blades. you can do this two ways. You can go in behind with a big ball cutter like this and go in and just remove material until you get breakthrough. That's all well and good as long as you know that the board in the back is concentric with the outside. Now I did that on one and it hasn't worked out because obviously it isn't concentric. So what I decided to do then is with another one, I've got a 100 grit sanding stick, very coarse, and I've come along and I've picked up my part with the veins on and just basically going along and just sanding the back of it away until there's nothing left. Okay, it's just like that. Now I've done this one, here's one I prepared earlier, save you watching, and then I've come down to a worn 600 grit, so this is more like 1,000 I should imagine, and then just sanding away. When you look on the back, if I can get it up here to show you, you can see that it starts to come through. Okay, so once it's come through properly, then you're there. Right, now there we go. We can see we've got the white showing all the way around, so that should just, there we go, that should just pop off. So now we've got our blades separate from the rest of the engine. Okay, so we can now just go along, quickly give that a clean up. I've got a 2,500 grit sponge here. I'm just going to go around the edge just to clean up the edge in case there's any burrs or hairs of plastic or fluff or anything on there. Just clear up those edges, and there we go. And then that is going to glue onto the front of those, just like, no it's not, it's going to glue on the front of there, sorry, just like that. Okay, so that's going to go on there, as you can see there, like that one. And then that will sit in behind the front, behind the intake. And there you go, already you've got a much improved look. And then you'll have this blade here, this ring of blades here, with the blades turned behind it. So that's going to look much better. Now then, as I said at the beginning of this little segment, I was intending to just do this and put them together and that be that. I have a concern. When we start to look at the back end, I've got to obviously make these parts here. When we look at the back end, the kit is not very good. I'll put a picture up now of a real tail end of the engine. Okay, and you can see around the outside of the exhaust cone it's very thin. And then we've got, you can see in there, you've got these photo etch parts here that are going to go round and look into the cone. Okay, now the way the kit is, as you can see here, it's very thick, and it's designed so that this, basically this cone, I should be able to drop this through from the front, there we go. That cone is basically going to sit in there, hold it in with a pen, like something like that. Okay, it'll come forward a bit deeper. There's loads of stuff stopping it. It was the wrong way round, that was what was wrong with it. So put that in like that, and then we'll push it through that pen. So that cone, as you can see, is just going to sort of sit in there like that. Okay, nothing like the real thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go out now on my lathe and I'm going to make new cones that fit the photo etch parts, but will also go into the back of these engines. And what I intend to do is glue these together, drill them out larger diameter, because when the, you can see here, when the actual pylon goes on, you've got all this material here, that shouldn't be there. So my intention is to drill this out, so we've got a thinner section around the outside, then probably sand the outside in to taper it in. There's no panel detail on here whatsoever to worry about. Whether we add that or not is another story. But the good thing about that, I suppose, we can sand it away to our heart's content and not worry about losing the panel detail. Same on the pylons, so we can get this all blended in beautifully and go from there. So because of that, and because I want to get this video out, because I'm keen to give away these drop tanks, or these fuel tanks should I say, wing tanks, I'm going to call this sort of part one. Okay, so basically what we've covered is looking at all the bits and pieces and the bits that I've made, and we've looked at removing this part here. And then next what we're going to do is I'm going to go away, I'm going to make a new part here that will fit the photo etch. So basically this has got a slot up inside, as you can see here. That's got to slot up inside that cone. and then this disc here with the turbine blades on is going to go in behind it, and then you've got these bits of plastic in here which I'm going to make in resin because there's 8 of them, and then this piece here is going to go on the outside. So I've got to retain the dimensions. I've also noticed that in some images it looks as though this cone is kind of angled at the back. It's not just straight and blunt and flat. So I may actually make the cone a little longer, and then when it's in there we can sand an angle into it. So I'll put this video up for now and call it part A, and then once I've done the work to make these engines up, I'll do a part B or part 2, and we'll go from there. Okay, so thanks for watching, but don't forget, send me a couple of pictures of your B-52, your model collect. It must be model collect, B-52, finished, nearly finished, whatever, and then I'll have a look through and I'll send whoever I think's going to be most rewarded by having a pair of these. I'll send you some, and completely free of charge. I'm not asking you to pay for postage or anything, but in return I want to see these actually tacked on, fitted, if not fully painted and everything, onto your model. And I want 3 photographs. I want 45 degrees from the nose, direct side on, 45 degrees from the tail, and just to see that they look right or wrong or whatever. So thanks for watching. I'll see you all soon with the next part. Bye for now.